Hello, my name is Josh Rubin, and I interviewed my boss, the owner of Real Urban Barbecue, Jeff Shapiro, for my final project. Jeff is probably, I'd say, one of the best bosses I've had. He's a very nice guy. He's been in the industry for a very long time. He started out when he was a teenager working at a hot dog place called Stasha's, which is actually in the same location as his restaurant is today. So that's kind of a cool coincidence. The main thing Jeff really did in the restaurant industry, he worked for Let Us Entertain You for about 13 years, running and managing a bunch of their restaurants. He then went on the barbecue circuit and traveled all over, competing. Won a couple awards for his ribs, which are outstanding. And then he came back and really focused on opening up this restaurant and doing it to the best of his abilities. So I'm gonna explain to you guys a little how our interview went down. I know Jeff very well. I've known him for about a year and a half now since we opened November of 2010. He interviewed me in probably uh, beginning of October. So I've known him for a pretty long time now, and he's a good guy. So one of the first questions I asked Jeff was, what was the hardest thing that you had to go through in opening a restaurant? He said that one of the hardest things was um, developing the restaurant, really like structuring it and the layout and how he wanted everything to look. He knew what he wanted his menu to be. It's a very simple menu. It's barbecue. Everything is smoked. The preparation is very easy. It's just how he wanted the restaurant to flow and how he wanted it to look. And he said that was one of the hardest things he had to do. Then I took the other side and said what was the easiest part of opening up a restaurant and what was the most fun part. Um, he said nothing's easy. Nothing's easy about opening a restaurant. Nothing is easy about running a restaurant. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of effort that you have to put forth, and um, but it's a big payoff. He says, and he says one of the most fun things about opening a restaurant is just being able to create it, being able to develop it from nothing and turn it into something. When I went in there for my interview, the place was totally stripped out, and he had just started construction. And 2 weeks later, boom, the restaurant was all set up and ready to go. It was that quick, and he said it was just a joy to watch it all happen. Um, I asked him how long it had been a dream of his to open up a restaurant. He said since he started out in the industry, actually, that's what he went in with the purpose to do. As it is for me. He opened up a restaurant with a partner um, years back, but it did not succeed, um, mainly because of the location that they were in, he says. But to actually own his own restaurant has been a dream of his for a very long time. I asked him how he had changed since from day one to now, and he said that he has really changed. He said he stopped drinking soda. That's one thing, but as an owner and a manager, he says that he has a better understanding of his customers. He has a better understanding of his employees. He knows how to relate to them. He knows what he wants and how he wants it done. And he says that's a really important thing to learn because in the beginning you're kind of just scrambling all over the place and just hoping people are going to like your product. And then once people do like your product, just having it consistent and having the employees be consistent in what they're giving out is a big thing. I asked him if there was anything he would do differently if he could. And of course, knowing Jeff, he made a joke about hiring me, but it was a joke. At least I hope so. I'm still an employee there, so I think it's a joke. Um, he said that portion control is something he would definitely do differently. He said that he didn't really stress enough of that. We kind of have it posted on one of our fridges, like the rules of the restaurant, and one of the things is 7-ounce portions for sandwich. But he doesn't really crack down on that, and that's something he wishes he could do instead, because you give in an ounce more to someone and you do that 5 times a day, 7 times a day, that's a free sandwich basically, and that adds up in a nickel and dime industry. That adds up. Um, I asked him how hard it was to find quality workers, and he says it was one of the more difficult things that he had to do. Not only did he have to find quality workers, he had to find quality workers that was comfortable speaking English on an everyday basis, because the way our restaurant is set up, it's a quick service restaurant. So you go from basically, you move down the line from station to station, so you're interacting with the employees all throughout the line, and so um, he needed to find enough quality workers that could communicate with the customers efficiently. I asked him what his best method of motivation was, and he said, I actually really liked the answer that he gave me. He said he didn't really have a motivation like method. The fact that he was signing the paychecks for the employees was enough motivation. He said the employees should be motivated to come into work and make their money, because that is why they're working, to make money. If they don't want to make money, they won't come to work, and that's their thing. They're not motivated to make money. So he says that he doesn't really stress a lot on motivation. He lets the employees kind of motivate themselves, which I think is very true. I mean, I have not missed a day of work because I want to be there and I want to make my money, and as do most employees. I asked him what training method he uses. Well, I was there for training, so what we did was we kind of had orientation the same day, and he kind of gave us the stations we were going to be at, and he gave us a couple recipes, and really it was a laid back first day. We were kind of just getting to know each other and making a couple of the recipes. But then what we did was we had 2 days, which was like a mock restaurant day where he had groups that were scheduled to come in and then just order. And so it was a mock day to see like how things are gonna flow, just to get our feet wet, to really get a feel for how this is all gonna work out, because it's basically like a lunch line. You start with the carver, you go to the salads, you go to the sides, you go to dessert, and then you check out. So we wanted to see how fast everyone needed to be and how things were going to flow. And I think those 2 days of the mock restaurant days really helped out for opening night, which was a big night. Opening weekend was one of the craziest things I've ever seen in my life. It was probably a 3 hour line out the door nonstop. Um, I asked him what has worked well for him, and he said the use of social media is a big thing that has worked well for him, because he's able to communicate with his customers every day without actually having to call or talk to them. He just posts something on Facebook that's going inside or outside the restaurant, um, and customers will respond to that. I mean, our Facebook page is loaded with just customer comments, customer questions, and that's really how we communicate with our customers when they're not in the restaurant, is through social media. And I think our customers have really taken on to that and really enjoyed that. I asked him if he made any early mistakes that he has learned from now, and he gave me the about the same answer. He said portion control. Um, he just wishes he could have done more. He's opening up another Real Urban Barbecue May 1st. Our restaurant has done very well, and he plans on opening up more. And he said that he's really going to harp more on portion control in the next restaurants. I asked him what his personal philosophy was on managing people. And he said he wants to make the employees feel at home and feel comfortable. He's a big joker. He jokes around a lot. Um, that's basically all he does. He just jokes around with the employees, but he really actually makes us feel appreciated. He's taken us on 2 employee appreciation days. One of them was um, over the summer. He took all the employees to a White Sox game and paid for the food and drinks and everything. And then we also had like a Christmas employee appreciation party where he took us to the new restaurant site to show us where it's going to be. And he took us out to dinner. And he makes us feel at home and he makes us feel wanted, which is a good thing because when you feel wanted, you tend to work more efficiently and better. Then the last question I asked him was what he thinks is the most important in a restaurant success. And he says returning customers is the most important thing because without returning customers, there would be no success. Sales would go down dramatically. I can't tell you how many customers I know on a first name basis just from them coming in so much. And the thing is, people will travel for barbecue, and people come from different states just to try our barbecue. And the people around us, they come in 3, 4 times a week. They cater. We cater, and we get huge parties, and people take out, and I know so many people and have developed so many relationships just from return customers. And he says that is the biggest part of a restaurant success is making sure that our product is good enough that customers will want to come back, and when they come back, making sure the product tastes the exact same. So I hope you all enjoyed my little brief summary of how our interview went. If you guys ever are in Highland Park, come check out Real Urban Barbecue. You won't be disappointed. Thank you.